Under 18 Curling Championships. Brett Poirier alongside Brooks Roach on the call here. We see Prince Edward Island versus New Brunswick women's going head-to-head, a matchup that surely will be a pivotal game here in this tournament. Brooks, what do we know about these two teams?
Well, these teams are both Canada Winter Games representatives for their province, so they're both proven winners out of their province, and definitely looking to have a good showdown here. Not sure if they did play each other at the Winter Games, but definitely both at a high level of competition.
So Brooks, now what will be the key to success for both of these teams? Of course, we see very impressive skips for both teams. Is it going to be how they start or how they finish the game that really proves the difference here?
Yeah, they've started off just throwing up a corner guard, so it looks like it'll be a bit of an aggressive start if all goes well. So it could be quite a few points up on the board here, but I wouldn't expect to see a huge scoring game because both teams are fairly good hitting teams, so it should be a close one.
Right now up for Prince Edward Island with that Redstone will be the Islanders and New Brunswick with the Yellowstones. Here is Peters with her second throw. Like you said, it's really hard to indicate from the beginning how teams are going to play, but you can kind of tell just by the placement of the stones. Right now we see a guard up, and that hasn't been traditional to what we saw in the first day where a lot of one in, one out action.
Yeah, teams seemed to be yesterday going for just aiming for a blank end, typically, especially early in the games. But here we see already 2 rocks in play after two shots. So good opportunity here for New Brunswick to hit and roll in behind, get a good start off.
And just a reminder, you can find us on Twitter. You can find me at Brett Poe or at BrettNBA. And we can find Brooks at Brooks Roach. Is that correct? No
That's
spaces
true.
in
No
there?
spaces. So pretty good shot there for New Brunswick. Didn't get the roll underneath, but still getting a rock in play, and seemed to be reading the ice pretty well.
And now up for Prince Edward Island, here is Wright. What do we know about a curler like her caliber?
Well, she's a good second. Seems to be very consistent hitter. As we see her playing a hit here, looking to roll away. She's just again a consistent player. Makes a lot of the more necessity shots, I guess you could say. As we see there, got a little roll towards the center line.
And this is draw 3 of 6 here from the Montague Curling Club. Yesterday we saw a bit of a lopsided game here on Ice 2, and then a very, very impressive game on the sheet following. Could you recap what took place here yesterday?
Yeah, the first game yesterday was Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, Labrador women, and that was a 12-0 win for the Nova Scotian girls. So that was definitely a bit of a lopsided one. Nova Scotia really carried the play there. The second game yesterday evening was the PEI host team versus the New Brunswick boys, and that was a very close game. Ended up being 4-3 for New Brunswick, and they both showed a lot of promise in that game.
Taking a look at the standings after one day, Nova Scotia, led by Clark, is up 2-0. So they lead all. New Brunswick, this team here, 1-0. So this is a very important game for them, of course, in the standings.
Yeah, they'd love to move to 2-0 because once you get to that stage, it's you have a bit of an easier path if you're looking to get to the gold medal game.
And this team, this Prince Edward Island team, led by McKay, is 1-1 so far. Newfoundland and Labrador is 0-1, and then the Prince Edward Island team 0-2, the host.
Yeah, so definitely a game that both these teams would really enjoy winning.
And of course, we'll have to keep our eyes on Sheet 4 because that is the two teams in the girls division that are on the bottom right now.
Yeah, so
and, that could really prove a difference to see who makes it on to further this competition because that Sheet 4 really probably will determine who sneaks into 4th.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll be probably a bronze medal game candidate based on the standings right now.
Right now we see Collins up for Prince Edward Island. Pretty interesting. This, we were talking before the game here, Brooks, and this group of curlers from PEI, they really stretch from all ends of the province.
They are, yeah. There's a representative from Montague in the eastern end, and then there's one from Summerside, and two from the central area, so Charlottetown, Cornwall area. So they really just kind of formed as a team for the purpose of Canada Games, and they seem to be sticking together quite well.
Now up for New Brunswick, once again getting ready to go, is this Redstone. Just travels inside that house right now. That house really cleaned out, Brooks.
Yeah, definitely. Probably not what they were hoping for with New Brunswick throwing up or PEI throwing up a guard early on, but they'll definitely be all right with a blank at this stage in the game.
Right now we see the hammer belonging to New Brunswick. They have 4 shots left here in the first end. And looking at the T-shirt club, we see a few ladies on the Prince Edward Island team sporting them, and I was just out a moment ago to the ice really quickly, and it's cold out there.
It is. There's definitely some power sweeping that can allow you to be out there in an outfit like that.
You can warm up a bit, I guess.
Yeah.
Here's Danielle Collins, the third for Prince Edward Island. This will be her second shot here in the first. And looking at the road, Brooks, to get here for these players, how about did this team win the provincial championship?
Well, the Kaylee McKay team actually went through the under-18 provincial undefeated, so that by claiming all 3 qualifiers in a triple knockout, they automatically became Team PEI at this event. So they would have beat the Lenantine team, which is the host, in their last game.
Taking a quick peek at Friday's draws, we'll just go over each game. There was 8 of them in total. On ice 1, the first game, it was won, of course, here by Prince Edward Island. Am I looking at this right? Yes, here we go. The 2 Prince Edward Island teams won. The final score was a 5-2 there. And then on ice 2, we saw Clark versus Casby, Nova Scotia versus Newfoundland. That was the game that we did, a 12-0 final.
That was definitely the most lopsided game that we've seen so far.
Of course, Nova Scotia, the early powerhouse going into this tournament, and Newfoundland has definitely been a team that probably with those early jitters, we saw them throw a lot of rocks that didn't come in contact, really anything close to a good shot. Yeah,
a lot of big misses in that game.
And then with the Newfoundland and Labrador and Nova Scotia team going on ice 3, that final score was 7-3 in favor of Nova Scotia men's. And then on ice 4, Prince Edward Island versus Prince Edward Island men's teams, 9-1 in favor of McFadden. So that was quite the lopsided game also.
And that was actually a bit of a surprise if you look at the standings, I guess, because that was the host team really beating the PEI representative in a big fashion. So not what you'd typically expect, but definitely a bit of a revenge game for them, I'd say.
Right now this Redstone just travels past the 4-foot. It will go to the back of the house. Just enough glue on the ice to keep it around.
Yeah, so again, just a very clean end by both teams. No guards up to work with, but they'll both be probably looking to get a bit more aggressive next end, I'd say.
And now here it comes, Justine Como for this New Brunswick team. The 16-year-old has been curling for 8 years. This team together, like you said, they've been to 4. They came 4th in the Canada Games this year. So that says a lot about this team.
They lost the semifinal to the eventual silver medalists, so that was definitely a big move for them, especially not being the oldest team there. So they would have been quite pleased with that. Justine Como coming in here.
This one looks a little bit off. It will just barely connect.
Just ticks the red out.
Not the perfect position, but it does what it needs to do.
No, it does the job, but just barely.
And now what do we know about this skip here for Prince Edward Island? We see Kaylee McKay coming down ice, ready to take hers.
Yeah, Kaylee McKay is just she's been around for quite a while, and she's worked her way up to the Canada Games level, and now at the under-18 Atlantics. So definitely a good year for her and her team.
And is this one of those Crapo products, or is this a
This would
Monarchy
be.
product?
I think she's actually in Charlottetown at the moment. Used to be from Crapo, from what I know. But yeah, again, they are all across the island pretty well. So
That central Prince Edward Island area really does produce the curlers.
They
There's
do.
a lot out of the Crapo, Bonshaw,
Yeah.
the Hunter River area for sure. And now this shot sails in a little too strong, and it looks like it will leave the house. So not what they intended that time.
no, so that'll just leave a blank opportunity for New Brunswick. So they'll just fire this one through the house, keep the hammer.
Of course, like we talked about, the importance of keeping that hammer, not to give it up for 1 point. Always the strategy implied here.
It
Have you
is.
ever seen a team in this stage of the game give up the hammer for 1 point?
Not in a case like this. Like if they're forced into it, let's say if the other team has a few rocks in play, then I could see it. But never in a case like this with just facing an open house.
So now, why all the focus and attention right now to detail? You can see this shot still being lined up as if they're trying to get it inside, but
Yeah, that's just a good pre-shot routine, I'd say. Just making sure she's still focused on and hitting the broom so they can see what the rock does down that path. So that's a smart play there, just staying focused.
So after one here on Bell Wyant Community 1, the score knotted up 0-0 from the Montague Curling Club. Brooks, pretty normal, calm first end now.
Yeah, fairly low key on that one. Just both teams again probably looking to get a feel for the ice and the conditions, and they both seem to be adjusting pretty well. Not too many misses in that end at all.
Now Prince Edward Island is back up. We will see the lead, Kaylee Peters, take this one. What do we know about Peters as a curler?
She's a good lead. Seems to have a pretty good grasp on draw weight and guard weight and everything. So she's just again another consistent player, which is good for a team like this playing at that level. You want to have consistency, which they've certainly shown in being able to win. Finishing in 7th place at Canada Games and looking to get a good result here as well.
The stone travels just inside, past the 8-foot, nearly at the 4-foot line in front of the button. Good look.
Yeah, good. Just again, good getting the draw weight down. So New Brunswick is actually going to ignore that rock and throw up a corner guard. So they're definitely going to look for an aggressive end here and probably hope to get a few points on the board.
Whenever you have the hammer, do you want to establish yourself earlier in the game, or are you okay playing 2, 3, 4, even 5 ends without scoring a few points?
Well, there's definitely nothing wrong with that, but in an 8-end game like this, it would be you certainly wouldn't mind taking an early lead. So in the first few ends, if you were to get some points and some rocks in play, if you're confident that you can score while doing so, you can definitely take that chance.
And how's this for scenario, Brooks? If you're a very confident team and you have the hammer at the beginning of the game, would a team ever, in an 8-end game, would a team ever go all 7 ends and wait to the 8th to try and score?
It actually it has happened, but the thing is, at this level, you'll probably encounter a mistake or two along the way, so it can be hard to.
It makes it very tricky.
Yeah, it's it's easy to say, oh yeah, we'll blank 7 ends and then draw for 1 in the 8th, but it's pretty improbable to actually end up doing that.
Of course, really, we've seen mistakes in each of the 2 games that we called yesterday, and really any of those mistakes could lead to that perfect end, so-called, being torn away.
And over the course of 7 ends, you're going to see some mistakes for sure. No team will play well. If a team plays 100%, then they definitely deserve to win, and I don't think it will be a 1-0 win.
Now here is New Brunswick up with their second stone. Here is the lead for New Brunswick, Kira McLaughlin, 14 years old. This team based out of Fredericton, New Brunswick. They want to give a shout out to Lewis South. They said as many times as possible during the program, so I guess Lewis South
that can be done. Hopefully Lewis is watching. Very great member of Team Quebec at the Junior Nationals this year. Great man. Met him myself. I'd also like to say hello to Lewis in Montreal. Hope you're enjoying
what's
the game.
Connection here? I haven't been briefed on the background between this New Brunswick team and Lewis.
Lewis is just a very sociable man who seemed to, quickly become friends with this New Brunswick team. So, I mean, of course, everyone at Nationals enjoyed interacting with Lewis, but them possibly most of all.
And there's a bit of a mistake right now for Prince Edward Island.
Yeah,
we see
bit
that
of
one
a
go through.
big miss there. So that leaves New Brunswick with a chance to hit to lie 2, and they still have that corner guard up, so that can be dangerous.
So now this could be the opportunity. We see New Brunswick use that hammer. We're only in the second end. That first end was scoreless. Just a reminder, you can find us on Twitter at Brett Poe, at Brett NBA for myself, and at Brooks Roach. Brett Poirier, Brooks Roach, have you on the call here live on Bell Community 1. That is Bell Line Community 1. Keeping you covered across the Maritimes of local sports, entertainment. We've got it all, and I know we've been here before at the Montague Curling Club, and like we said yesterday, one of the greatest clubs around.
It is, yeah. A lot of great comments about the ice conditions. The ice maintenance crew, Bruce Rourke and Larry Richards have been putting a lot of work in, and it's really paying off. There's great conditions here, no complaints at all.
So this Prince Edward Island stone traveling very, very quickly across this center line right now. Just about to hit the hog line. Where are we going?
They're looking to just get a good hit on that yellow rock. That's a good shot there. After a bit of a miss by Brigitte Comeau of New Brunswick, certainly they would have liked to stick around on their hit to lie 2.
There is the freeze. One thing I will comment about this tournament, all of these teams are dressed to the nines. They have some of the better uniforms I've ever seen in any sport. Yes,
there's some fashion involved in the sport for sure. It's a bit like golf. You get some extra looks when you're wearing the best gear, I guess.
Of course, when you represent the province, you have to look good.
Yes, certainly. PEI with the Adidas gear there, and New Brunswick with they actually have the black and yellow combinations. They have one shirt for each color, which is an interesting combo.
We should have a little 5-minute segment on each show, the fashion update, just providing the best. And I always like when a player, this doesn't mean anything, but I love when a player strays away from the traditional curling shoes and
that is
Adidas, something like
that's getting a lot more popular. We see over on Ice 3 next to us on our other live stream game, Liam Marine with his white and black Adidas customized shoes. So definitely stepping away from the traditional black. And that is
a unique look on the ice.
It is, yeah. We're seeing it a lot more because people tend to find they can really get the specialized shoe that way.
And are these shoes actually customized? Some of these?
They are, yeah. They're sent away, and at Balance Plus, those seem to be, and they attach the slider and everything, and can dip the toe, so it's more aerodynamic.
So yeah, really, you can get any shoe customized for curling these days. We saw, of course, Andrew Bridges with Team UNB here a few months ago with the blue Adidas, exact same as that.
He
and
did.
They really stood out on the ice.
They are, yeah. He had those up at Nationals in Newfoundland as well, so definitely a unique look for Andrew. We also see over at the Worlds in Halifax right now, John Morris with his classic green and gray custom shoes.
It's a good look. Everyone's wearing the black shoes, the traditional shoes that you can buy at any sports outlet for curling, but why not, right? Yeah,
you might as well step out there if you're gonna be at this level.
Exactly. Now here comes Prince Edward Island. They have 2 stones to contend with, one in guard and one just inside the house near the center line.
So this
looks like they're going towards the middle.
Yeah, this one needed to curl up a bit. They're looking to get the hit and roll under the guard, so it's moving in nice. A little bit of a big roll there.
They want to
that will stick around.
That yellow stone.
Yeah, but that's not too bad. They're sticking around on the edge of the 12-foot.
And now just a sneak peek at what is ahead at 2:30 today. We will see the host versus Nova Scotia women's game. And then at 9 a.m. tomorrow, we'll see Prince Edward Island versus Newfoundland. And then, of course, we will have our final. We will have the women's final here from this sheet, Brooks. And Is this a potential preview right here?
It's definitely possible. I mean, looking at what we've seen so far, New Brunswick is definitely looking like a serious contender. Prince Edward Island has shown some definite abilities. There's also the 2-0 Nova Scotian team at the moment, so they could definitely be in the talk for that game. But either way, I'll say it'll definitely be a good one.
There's a very good shot one of these two teams is in the finals.
For sure, yeah.
Really, whoever wins this game would have a very good shot of making it.
Yeah, they would have a good chance. Picking up a second win is pretty key in a short tournament like this.
It is a very short tournament.
It's surprising. You start Friday afternoon, and before you know it, Sunday morning rolls around.
And the thing is, the games aren't very condensed. Like you said, there's a banquet here at 7 o'clock tonight.
Yeah. There's you'll play typically 2 games a day, and there's always one game where you have a bye. So whenever that is, you can kind of use that at your will, like however you want to use it.
And can you explain to the viewers how that bye actually works and how a team can just basically not call off a game, but just not play the game?
That's basically just the way the schedule works, having 10 teams, but the schedule only allows for 4 games at a time. The tournament's typically at a 4-sheet club, so that means that one men's and one women's team is off at all times, so they can just use that time to, stay at the hotel or relax or be with their family or whatnot. Sometimes they even come and watch their the other teams that they may know in the tournament.
And Brooks, I checked in to a hotel here last night, or I guess early this morning we checked in. Supposed to get some dirty weather here on Prince Edward Island today, later tonight, so you know what? It's a beautiful hotel just up the road.
Yes, the River House Inn, that's the host hotel for the event, so that's, again, no complaints from the athletes. They're all enjoying it quite a bit. Pretty good atmosphere there.
It is. I spent a long 5 days there. I can't complain about where I spent it, but with the blizzard last time, I feel like it's home now.
Yeah.
Going back for the 6th night. Yeah, here comes New Brunswick. They're going for that red stone just inside, and they're going to try and
big sweep here by the New Brunswick front end. So they'll just hit that one on the nose. So not a terrible result at all. Would have liked to try to get a little roll underneath their guard, but that's definitely nothing to complain about.
Only a few stones left now. We're seeing it once again, a pretty controlled, quiet end of curling right now.
Yeah, that guard hasn't really come into play, so they'll just be looking to keep it clean and eliminate this rock, and hopefully, keep New Brunswick from getting their 2 points here.
And if that's not the case, we could very well see New Brunswick not forfeit, try to hold on to that hammer.
Yeah, I could easily see a blank opportunity coming for New Brunswick.
Now with one inside of the house, it will be the exact same attack method, just right inside, try to freeze just below the button.
Yeah, they'll just be, they seem to be trying to roll under that guard, make a blank harder, but that will need to curl up if it's going to stick around.
It will hit in a pretty good roll, just a tad bit strong, but too strong of a roll because it goes out of play.
Yeah, so that'll be another rock fired through the house for New Brunswick, so assuming this is made, which I can't see it being missed, it should be still 0-0 after 2 ends here on sheet 2.
Like this actually be missed.
It's rare, but I suppose there is a way. You'd have to be pretty off your game, though.
For a player like Justine Kamal, we probably wouldn't see that mistake happen.
No, can't imagine.
You can still see precision, though, trying to pretending as this is the last shot of the game, still the laser focus. As this one will just carry through the house, and after 2 here from Montague, the score is 0-0. The hammer still belongs to New Brunswick at this point. And now we will see Peters up for Prince Edward Island. Are you surprised by the slow tempo to start this one?
A little bit. I mean, it's we have seen it quite a bit on this sheet and on all sheets so far in the tournament. Looking around, we see a 2-0 game for Prince Edward Island host over the Newfoundland men on Ice 1. This game being 0-0, of course, same as over on Ice 3 with the PEI New Brunswick men, and it's 1-0 for the PEI host over Newfoundland on Ice 4.
So this could be the quieter game. Looking at the thinking time right now, not too much of it has been used up. Both teams about 5 minutes, 30 seconds into it. That thinking time, a newer concept to curling.
That's just the time when it takes from the rock to come to rest until the other team has decided and thrown their rock.
Right now, up for New Brunswick is the lead, Kira McLaughlin. She got involved with curling 5 years ago by watching the Scotties, and 5 years ago for a 14-year-old, that's actually one of the older, or I'm going to say less experienced curlers in this tournament.
But she's definitely shown some results there with an appearance at Nationals and Canada Winter Games, and now an Atlantic Championship.
I did interviews with this New Brunswick team before the show, Brooks, and I asked each one of them what other activities, pastimes, sports they do. Not a single answer from any of them. Curling is what they do. They all gave up other sports, swimming, volleyball, track, to join curling, to be competitive in it. The results definitely show on
this. They've made some serious commitments, and you can certainly see the results. A young team that's really moved their way up the rankings. They made an appearance at the 2013 Atlantic Championships. Keeping in mind that's an under 18 championship, so some of these girls would have been 12 and 13 years old. So that's quite an accomplishment just to win New Brunswick, a solid curling province at that age. But to end up getting a silver medal at the Atlantics was also impressive. So bright future for this team.
This team out of the Capital Winter Club in Fredericton. Have you ever had a chance to curl there?
I have not. No, I know quite a few players from that club. Both Canada Winter Games representatives were out of that club, so they definitely have a good program there. But I have not stepped foot in the Capital Winter Club.
And now this stone herd, we see 2 red stones in play right now, trying to get a double here.
Yeah, just coming in. Looks pretty good, actually.
Just
ticks the back one.
Ticks the back one, like you said. It was very close.
Yeah, good effort. Might have been a bit of a sweeping error on that one, but it does leave them sitting shot rock, and somewhat difficult shot to get rid of.
Whenever we see a shot that comes so close, would you sometimes look to the sweepers and say, we could have done more?
You can, but in general, it's a team shot, so there's 4 parts to every shot, so you really you can't be blaming certain people on a miss, especially when it's that close.
Now we see this Prince Edward Island
this one
go in. Not
dead
what
jam.
They wanted to do there.
No, just an over curl on that one.
So after New Brunswick makes a quick mistake, Prince Edward Island does the exact same thing on the other end, sets New Brunswick up for a pretty easy takeout here.
Yeah, hard to jam this one, so they'll be looking to hit this and lie to.
So here is Bridget Como, the 15-year-old. Her father is the coach. That is Tim Como of this New Brunswick team. There is
that's a good shot
easy
there.
Takeout. And
good roll to the center line. Yeah.
Is that the ideal spot for it to land right inside the
That's
button?
a pretty good spot. Like it's a rather tough double. I mean it's hard to roll anywhere without leaving a double when the rocks are completely open like that, but that's definitely a good spot.
In a perfect world, did you want to get behind that guard if possible?
For Kaylee McKay here, they're looking on this shot mainly just to get rid of both, but a roll in behind the guard would be a bonus if possible. But this one will need to curl up to do that.
There is one takeout. There is
and
2.
Makes the double. Nice shot there.
And cleaning up the house once again was Prince Edward Island. Now New Brunswick is going back in, and you can tell they're pointing behind that guard.
Yeah, they are. They're going to try to use that little bit of safety they've created after a nice shot by Alyssa Wright to clean house.
This stone not needing any sweeping yet.
No,
Looks
this
very
one's,
strong right
this
now.
one's being left alone. That'll really need to stop. As
Travels
it
to the back
slips
of the
right through
house.
the back.
And it's gone.
Yeah.
So not what they wanted that
No,
time
another.
either.
That's a big miss there. It was a good opportunity. Line was pretty good, just way too much weight on that one.
What is the hardest part of throwing a rock? Is it getting the direction right, or is it all about the power that's really the difficulty?
It really depends on the shot. I mean, you want to have all parts, as accurate as you can when that's the line and the weight you're putting behind the rock. But ideally, you're just looking at the shot as a whole, not really all its individual parts. So it's a lot of muscle memory, and that's really the most important thing, just knowing that you can do the same thing over and over on your routine. This one coming into the house quite heavy as well.
That's on the second shot we will see enter and leave quickly. So not staying for dinner.
No, not at all. That one wanted to get to the backboard pretty quickly.
So once again, we see a mistake by one team, and then the other team, now for the second time, the other team made the exact same mistake.
Yeah, that's what you'd call a killer miss, because when a team misses an opportunity of their own like that, you really want to take advantage yourself of kind of the missed opportunity and use it for your own team. So Emma LeBlanc looking to capitalize on this one.
Now this stone finally, with not as much power, still travels pretty
Again,
far down.
Yeah, sticks around, which is good, but could have used a bit less weight. Nothing to complain about though after a few that sailed right through.
Although the placement directly behind that guard.
Yeah, it is pretty well buried. So it seems that Kaylee McKay will be playing a light tap on this one.
So now Prince Edward Island up once again with their red stones. Score here is 0-0 from the Montague Curling Club at the 2015 Atlantic Under-18 Curling Championships here on Bell Alliant Community 1. Brett Poirier alongside Brooks Roach on the call here on this Saturday morning in beautiful Prince Edward Island.
So that one will spin out. Little bit of a miss there, but eliminating the rock is key, and that's what was done. So again, another opportunity for the same shot here by the New Brunswick third, looking to come in behind that guard.
Here is Emma LeBlanc, the 16-year-old from Fredericton. I asked her what her favorite food was because I needed some questions. Her reply, I don't like food.
That's a bit of an unusual answer.
Very unusual for a teenage girl. They love food at that age.
Typically. So this one coming very close to that guard. Looks like it will get by, so looking to drag that one in. And they may have just got it there. It seems to just be eating at the top 12 foot.
That's very close. As you'll recall, yesterday I made a very tough prediction saying that a rock was in or out of the house when they had to get the 6 foot measure. Or I guess that was about the 6 foot measure.
That was, yeah.
And of course,
the prediction
I was
was
right,
right.
being a curling expert myself.
It was paid off.
So I'm going to say this one is not inside the house also at this point.
Okay, I'm not really sure. We'll see if it comes into play, and then I'll make my prediction.
Okay, we'll see. Of course, when it's that close, any type of a tick could really play a difference, and there's still several stones to be thrown here in the third. We'll just give a quick shout out now to our crew down in the basement, working hard to keep this game and the scores all up to date, and of course our cameramen who are outside braving this cold weather. We see each day they come a little more prepared for the elements out here.
They are, yeah. They're getting quite bundled up to film these games.
I believe our producer is out working one of the cameras right now. We see Shane from Universum outside. So they're bouncing around everywhere. Quite a crew to put this together. About eight guys, I think, in total we have, and
it
definitely shows. It's a big
good
production.
Crew.
And now we see Justine Como coming back down ice. She has pretty open ice to work with right now, Brooks.
Yeah, she's. They seem to think that Yellowstone at the top 12-foot is in, so they'll be just drawing over to the wing on the right side, looking down the ice.
The thinking time really ticking through right now. Both of these teams really trying to calculate their moves.
Yeah, it's a fairly clean end, but they're definitely taking their time thinking through the options here.
And where do you think this will ultimately be placed? Do you think it's going to go behind the guard?
No, it's they're just going for the open wing here because they feel that one is in on the top 12, so they want to split the rings, and hopefully, if that one ends up being measured, they'll have an opportunity for their 2 points. If this shot is made, which it looks a tad heavy, but it will stick around.
We're seeing a lot of heavy throws right now, not
Yeah.
too much staying near the front of the house, all at the back.
Yeah, the ice seems to be fooling them a little bit. It's very slick, which, you know, for the Atlantic provinces isn't a common feature. So there's nothing to complain about with fast ice like that. But they're just trying to get used to it. It seems.
Like you say, Brooks, these are ideal ice conditions here.
Yeah, for sure. It's close to something you'd see at an arena, or without that large amount of curl. It's very good speed and just overall good ice. You know, nice and clean and everything.
McKay up once again. Kaylee McKay, the skip for Prince Edward Island. She's going for that Yellowstone right inside the back of the house.
Yeah, she's just going for the hit on that one. Looking to curl up a little bit. And that's a good shot, just right on the nose.
And it will stick around. And that will leave New Brunswick up now for their final shot. They have the hammer.
Yeah, so they're looking to hit this and stick around. So they are very convinced that top yellow rock is in play. So I'm guessing that with their last rock here, they're gonna try to stick around, and then they'll end up measuring that rock at the top 12 because it is very close. Looking at the TV screen from the overhead view, it's just about over top of the edge of the ring. Like it's a bit of a coin toss there.
I'm gonna say no still. I still think it's
I don't know. I'm gonna have to agree with those on the ice and say that must be in.
I wish you could make a bet on time, but
well,
probably not a good idea to bet on the air, especially when I'm the rookie to
I
curling.
doubt it.
I'm not gonna bet against you, that's for sure. All right, now Como, her last shot here in the third. Like you said, they're convinced they already have a point, so this could be the end right here where they capitalize, get on the board.
For sure. So they'll laying a bit of sweeping to that one. Looks pretty good coming in, so that should stick around for sure. That's just a good calm shot there. So now they'll take a look.
Oh, and they're gonna say right away.
They kick it right away. So that'd be 2 points there.
I guess there was no dispute, so Prince Edward Island must have also agreed.
Yeah, they would have agreed. So that's a 2-0 lead for the New Brunswick girls. So a good way to jump out in front on the scoreboard after 3 ends there.
I either need new glasses or we need a new TV screen, because that looked out to me.
Yeah, you can't always trust the overhead view because it can be not from directly overhead, and seeing a little bit of white can really trick you.
It got me. So I'm 1 for 2 now on these 6-foot predictions.
Not a bad, still a passing grade, but I don't know.
So close.
Yeah.
50% is not my best work. Now at the start of the fourth, the score at 2-0 right now in favor of New Brunswick. They give up the hammer. Probably not the best situation, giving up the hammer for only 2 points, but I mean, you wait around a little bit and it's okay.
Yeah. Again, in an 8-end game, getting a deuce is certainly nothing to cry about. I mean, you'd be fine with that. And they seem to be they have a slight advantage with the play as of yet, so they'll be pleased with getting a good lead. Hope to force PEI to a single point here, or if possible get a steal, but by going in they seem to be just looking for a force.
Now Brooks, how do we see, I guess you said the 8-end game, so not like a 10-end game where we'll see a team sometimes hold on to the hammer for 4 ends. We're after 3 right now, and it's kind of in favor of New Brunswick at this point to get the hammer back at the end of this game.
Yeah, they're well, in the 4th end PEI does have hammer, so the New Brunswick does not have the hammer in even ends, but again, in the 8N game, that doesn't play as huge of a role. So they'll just be looking to keep things in control at the moment. By putting a center guard up, they will actually be a bit more aggressive than expected.
New Brunswick back up. They have one just inside of the house on the center line. There is a guard in play just past the hog line. And that guard is pretty lined up in the center line. That could cause some trouble later in this end for sure.
Yeah. So if this is made, then PEI will have a harder path to the scoring area.
And how does offensive strategy change whenever the team doesn't have the hammer?
Well, when you don't have the hammer, if you're looking to steal, you want to clog up the middle as much as possible. So that's what they're doing with this center guards and the drawing to the center line. So that just basically makes it harder to draw in around by making a bit of an obstacle course, I guess, and making it harder to hit the rocks that have been placed by that team in that area. So this rock, kind of on a wide path, definitely need to curl in quite a bit, and it seems to have quite a bit of power around it too.
This one travels wide. It goes.
Yeah, that'll slip through the back.
There's a mishap for Prince Edward Island.
I think that just kind of got into some fresh ice, and again, with the conditions of this ice being so good, it's pretty slick all around. So hard to compensate for that.
It's probably better to give a little less on every throw at this point.
You'd be safer to hand it off to your sweepers in that case.
Really trust the sweepers to carry a weak shot.
Yeah. Again, Team McKay currently playing with only 3, as third Daniel Collings is off with a bit of a leg injury. So hoping that gets cleared up as soon as possible. So New Brunswick trying the same thing. Again, looking a little hot, but this rock should, and it just will slip through the back there. So again, a very slick path down that line.
We've seen this so much in this tournament. The rock's just too strong right now. And once again, a mistake by Prince Edward Island followed up by this similar mistake by New Brunswick.
Yeah, and again, that's a killer miss, because you really want to take advantage when you have that chance.
And that's why we said that you can't play the conservative 7 ends with...
No, you really can't, especially on ice like this, and when you are gonna miss a few shots like that. You really can't go for a 1-0 game. Like it's just not logical. So a really nice shot there by Kaylee Peters, getting the run back and taking both New Brunswick stones out of play.
So now that changes things quite a bit here in the fourth. We're about halfway through this, and the score 2-0 in favor of New Brunswick at the 2015 Atlantic Under-18 Curling Championships here from the Montague Curling Club. Now New Brunswick has a few guards set up in front that they have to contend with Prince Edward Island, but they'll try to get right around.
They will, yeah. It's looking pretty good here. Getting a little close to that red guard.
Dangerously close at this point. But it
just gets by. Great sweeping there. So they'll get that to the top 8 foot
Talking
and
about a perfect
right
shot.
behind. Yeah. Some great sweeping there by Kira McLaughlin and Emma LeBlanc.
And you can never predict a shot like that when it comes so close. You couldn't have fit a magazine between that.
No, that's really, really close, and held purely by the sweepers. So that'd be an assist to the sweepers on that one. Looking around, we have some score updates from the other games. Prince Edward Island hosts leading Newfoundland Labrador 3-1 in men's action. In our other televised game, New Brunswick leads Prince Edward Island 1-0. And over on Ice 4, Prince Edward Island host leads the Newfoundland Labrador women 4-0 after 2 ends. Just missing the run back on that last shot there, so New Brunswick with a little bit of an edge.
So we see the 2 skips back. in the house right now, Como and McKay, respectively, for both of their teams, and for New Brunswick. We see Emma LeBlanc up right now. And we definitely hear some screaming from the ice. I don't know if that's coming from our game or not right now.
That is. Yeah, there's some pretty desperate line call there. So that one's going to miss the tap, so they're just going for the straight draw now. So that's just right on the tee line. Pretty good plan B there.
And now we see once again Prince Edward Island at the disadvantage. They had a great double a few plays ago.
Yeah.
Will that be the goal here?
I don't know. I don't think it's really worth it. They're going to be looking to get one of their own actually in there and in play. So they're discussing the options. McKay suggested the run back, but that is a very, very long run. So they'll actually be playing just a soft weight, kind of a hit tap on that rock on the side of the forefoot.
Looking at the thinking time right now, 19:30 left out of 30 minutes. So just about halfway through this game, both teams still moving at a considerably fast pace here.
Yeah, no worries for time as of yet.
Now here comes the stone. This isn't good. It's going to hit the guard just out in front.
That is. So they will clear up the path to those yellows, but still not a great miss for PEI.
Of course, when you're down 2-0 heading into the halftime break, you really don't want to give up that hammer.
Yeah,
in the way you don't want to.
PEI's the blank is a tough option. Looking at the way the rocks are set up at the moment, but definitely they'd be looking to pick up a point at least. So New Brunswick looking to put the rock just in an inconvenient spot for PEI to hit it, making a little bit of a Christmas tree effect, so there's no triple.
So we'll see this one just cross the hog line with some sweeping.
So this line
quite hard. It will probably make it to the house.
Yeah, line's looking good for the little line up there. That's a good shot. Good possession.
And no triple possibility right now.
It's pretty tough. You'd need a lot of weight to get all three of those rocks out, and I'm not really sure that they'd be lively enough to all spin out.
If you were attempting the triple, where would you start?
You'd have to come off the top one, but it's so hard. It may not even be there especially with these rocks. So they're just going for the double on the one that was just thrown and the one it was somewhat frozen to. So line looks decent for that. Needs to curl a little bit. No sweeping as of yet.
Very powerful shot right now. Just gets inside and
that'll just clip the top one. So again, advantage New Brunswick in that case.
We're nearing the end now of the fourth. And we see New Brunswick already with that 2-0 lead. They don't have the hammer, but they could pretty well, you would assume, get a steal here by the way things are going.
Yeah, it's looking, they're definitely in control of the way the end's going. So they'll be looking to block the path to for an easier draw. So looking to make it challenging for New Brunswick. Or for PEI, sorry.
So now here is Como.
So Justine Como looking to play the same shot that was just played, making, again, a tough angle so as to not leave a triple.
Right now she's saying, hey, slow down. Now heavy sweeping.
Sweepers have to go on this one. A little bit lighter than the last shot, but still a decent spot. It does block quite a bit of the back one, so it's tough to get in there for shot. So
that's a pretty tough double, though.
Yeah, McKay looking to get as much granite moving as possible by playing either the double on the one just thrown to the one on the side of the forefoot, or on the two that are right next to each other at the top 8 foot there. So
is this a doable shot though?
it is. It'll need quite a bit of weight, but they'll just like to, keep their own in play and get rid of some of the enemy rocks there.
Now up for Prince Edward Island here is Kaylee McKay. We said it before, she's a pretty composed, well put together skip, and she's probably faced much tougher shots than this, but like you said, right now she doesn't have a whole lot to work with.
No, a bit of a slacker end by the Prince Edward Island team, so they'll be looking to get a bit of curl on this one. It may work out for them. So that's a good shot there. Gets two of the New Brunswick stones out. Sticking around. New Brunswick still shot, but a bit of a challenge for them to set up a steal.
So Prince Edward Island may have just saved themselves on this end with that stone.
They did, yeah. That's an end changer right there. If that's missed, then it's hard not to give up a steal for Prince Edward Island, for New Brunswick.
And we've seen in previous tournaments here where a pick would become an issue somewhere on the ice. Right now we still haven't seen any contact, I believe, in any of these games right now, so the ice surface kept very smooth.
Yeah, it's definitely a squeaky clean surface. No complaints as far as that goes. The ice crew is working pretty well around the clock, trying to keep it at the highest quality and succeeding. It's great.
Of course, that's why they don't want that outdoor footwear on the ice.
Yeah, exactly.
For the obvious reasons. Now this Yellowstone comes in, hits the PEI rock, perfectly placed once again.
Yeah, so that's a good shot there. Does leave them a double for the blank, but definitely not an easy shot.
So this could be a shot that gives Prince Edward Island a point, lets them give up two, or a blank end in that regard.
Yeah, they're just looking to throw some big weight at that, and excuse me. They're looking to just clip the side of that and roll out, keeping the hammer for the next end when they can set up better.
So now we'll see Kaylee McKay step up to this stone. We always see these curlers always give their stone a little bit of a clean, the ice in front of them. Does that actually make a difference?
It does, yeah. Speaking of not having picks, that's a big part of it, just maintaining your own rock's cleanliness, because you can sometimes even have a little bit of frost build up on the bottom, and that can affect the path of the rock. So it's just a basic skill to have.
So a lot of weight, like you said, on this one.
Yeah, McKay looking pretty good on this one as it comes in. A little wide, so they'll need a tiny bit of curl. And just going to jam on the side, give up a steal of one for New Brunswick. So going into the break, New Brunswick leads 3-0.
We'll be back on Bell Alliance Community 1 in a few minutes. We are back here at the start of the fifth from the Montague Curling Club for the Under 18 Atlantic Curling Championships here in Prince Edward Island. It is a beautiful day for curling, a Saturday morning. This is the third draw, and it is between the women's team from Prince Edward Island and New Brunswick. Right now, the score in favor of New Brunswick, 3-0 here. Right now, we see Peters up. She is the lead. Prince Edward Island, of course, with those red stones, and it is New Brunswick with the yellow stones. They have played well. They were able to get the hammer to begin this game, and then they got a steal to grab one extra point there. So a very impressive showing for them here in this game. And now we see Peters with her first throw here in the fifth. It will have Brooks Roach rejoin us momentarily right now. I think he's just getting all tailored up, putting a suit on, no doubt. He's somewhere around here, so we will keep you posted. And now New Brunswick back up. This is the lead, Kira McLaughlin. Her favorite food? Rice. She likes all the types of rice in the world. She got involved watching the Scotties 5 years ago. And you're back on the show. Welcome back.
Yeah. Brief technical difficulty there. All cleared up.
I was straight up. I said you were getting changed, getting your suit on.
That's true enough. More of a wardrobe malfunction.
A wardrobe malfunction, yes, of course. Of course, we're dressed to the nines over here, full suits.
We are.
Pretty much tuxedo.
It's the TSN booth at the Montague Curling Club.
Absolutely. Here on Bell Alliance Community 1, we only dress the sharpest. Remember, you can tweet us and ask for a shout-out at Brett Poe or at BrettNBA and at Brooks Roach on Twitter. And you can find Bell Community 1 on Twitter by using the hashtag Community1, and you can find Bell Alliant on Twitter at Bell_Alliant.
And yeah, speaking of sharp-dressed individuals, once again, giving a shout-out to our viewer in Montreal, Lewis South. Very fashionable man.
Yes, this Lewis South is a name who comes up very often with this New Brunswick team. Very, very popular among Tim Como's group.
Very much so. So this rock coming in, not going to make contact there. Bit of another advantage for New Brunswick in this case. So they'll be looking to put another one in play. The red guard actually hurting Prince Edward Island at the moment because it's blocking their path in.
We hear some heavy yelling over at the other ice right now. Ice 3 on the live stream between Prince Edward Island and New Brunswick.
Yeah, big game there. It's shot for 1 for New Brunswick there to tie it up at 2 after 4 ends. In other action, we have Prince Edward Island host leading Newfoundland and Labrador men 3-1, and Prince Edward Island host leading Newfoundland and Labrador women 8-1.
Brooks, how many curling clubs and teams under 18 do we have here on Prince Edward Island for the women's division?
For the women's division in the under 18 championship, there was 4 teams this year. There are some other teams, but it's typically an event that's kept for the teams closer to that age group. So you won't have the 12 and 13, 14-year-olds as much in that competition. But in general, there's a few teams that can vie for the top spot. McKay certainly having the advantage this year for sure.
Here comes this Prince Edward Island stone. Right now there is several in play for New Brunswick. They're going right at the center.
They are, yeah. They're looking to hit and roll over on that one. That'll need to curl up to stick around though.
So just about nicked, or I should say ticked the other one.
It came pretty close to that other one. But not remaining in play, so another opportunity for New Brunswick to take here after a missed shot on their last one.
And now here is Bridget Como. I was speaking about Emma LeBlanc a while ago. She said, I don't like food. Bridget's like, I like all food. So I asked
polar
them to get
opposites.
along. They're polar opposites, like you said.
Yeah. But I guess team chemistry doesn't have to revolve around food, so they're lucky.
Fortunately
yeah.
not. I mean, when you make it to 4th in the Canada Games, 4th in nationals. You're
Yeah.
doing okay as a team.
I'm sure their meal choices are fine if they can get those results.
Now this stone perfectly lines up with the other New Brunswick stone
Yeah,
in play, and that
good
makes
shot
it very
there.
tough for Prince Edward Island here.
Very hard double. They are rather close, but it's so flat that it'd probably roll under without a lot of weight. So they're just looking to hit and roll in behind cover there. A bit of a tricky spot to play on here as Alyssa Wright throwing down the center line, because we've seen a few rocks really swinging hard off the center line, as this one does as well. I can see it really crossing the line at the moment.
And here comes the stone just inside the house. There is one hit, almost got a second one.
Yeah, it just slips under the other one. Again, not enough weight to jump across and get at that other yellow, but still a good shot, eliminating the one. Would have liked to stick around, but simply curled too much.
Speaking of sticking around, make sure you stick around for our second draw here today. It will be the 4th draw of the tournament, and it will include the host team from Prince Edward Island versus Nova Scotia. So we automatically would assume Nova Scotia has the upper hand going into that, but as we know, you can never
They
predict.
would, yeah. I'd give Nova Scotia the advantage, but I've also seen that at the moment Prince Edward Island host is really playing well against the Newfoundland and Labrador girls team. So you never know. They both show a lot of strong properties, so it could be a much closer game than expected, and could be a very key game for the whole tournament.
Right now, both Nova Scotia teams have the game off.
They do, yeah. It's the bye for Nova Scotia this morning. Both teams sitting at 2-0, so they'd be pleased and looking to keep their winning ways going into this evening and tomorrow as well.
Have we seen New Brunswick men and the Nova Scotia men face off yet?
No, that game is actually that's a pretty key game for both men's and women's, and that game is tomorrow morning, both of them. So that will be a big one for sure, and it could possibly be a rematch of both finals the way the standings are at the moment.
Here comes Wright for Prince Edward Island. She's got a lot of stones to contend with. She's going right at the center. It will curl towards the center line right now. Barely. A lot of sweeping right now.
Looking to play a run back there. So they missed the back yellow, but they're rolling away from the danger area. So they do leave another guard up, but it leaves that whole side with the New Brunswick stones exposed. So not a bad shot. A bit of a pro miss on that one.
A pro miss, I like that term. So about the best mistake you can make.
Yeah, if you're gonna miss, that's the right way to do it.
And now for New Brunswick, what does this leave them with?
They're just gonna look to put another one up in front of the house there. Again, keeping things out of the house so that PEI is forced to play shots on the guard instead of directly on those in the house. This one actually they're playing for this one to go top 12, so they're looking to sit 3. Bit of an aggressive call. A lot of sweeping being applied to this one, and they will, maybe just miss. Yeah, I think they might have just dragged that one on, so New Brunswick sitting 2 at the moment.
So does that leave any potential doubles now for PEI?
It does. They look to just be playing to hit and roll with a softer weight on that rock that's just above the tee line there. So if they can hit and roll inside at all, that'll be an advantage for PEI, being under cover of two yellow guards there. This one a little wide off the bat, so looking to get this one to curl back in.
Doesn't get the curl they're hoping for. It's going
No,
at
seems
the
to
back.
be quite a bit of weight on that one, so that will just clip the yellow.
And that's just about the worst case scenario.
Yeah,
on that one.
that doesn't remove it from play, so that's again a bad way to miss that one. You'd be better off being a bit narrow and taking the guard than being outside and not even removing it from play. So
This game already 3-0 in favor of the team from the mainland, and at this point we can't see Prince Edward Island mistakes.
Yeah, we'll need, if PEI looks to come back in this one, they'll need to really step it up and not make those kind of misses. Again, they're just not quite executing. I mean, the strategy is fine, but not the best performance right now.
Of course, we do see Prince Edward Island with the hammer, so that will really benefit them.
They do, yeah. They'll looking at the way it's gone with only 2 rocks left and none in the house, only 1 red guard. They'll probably be looking at being forced to 1 in this end, which New Brunswick would certainly be all right with to get the hammer back and still have a 2-point lead.
Here comes another Yellowstone. It's already quite populated around. 4 Yellowstones across the hog line, 2 inside of the house, and now this one looks like it will go.
This one coming in.
Inside.
They seem to be looking, for a little tick on their other Yellowstone there, and this looks very good. I don't know if they moved that one in, but they will roll in. So, pretty decent shot. Not quite the result they were hoping for to bump that in and sit 4, but
they
still,
just about have 4 in.
Yeah, it's very close, and they'll have a strong advantage here with PEI looking to play a little hit and roll under those 2 yellow guards, or very, very tight guards.
So what do we have to see right now out of Kaylee McKay to make this work out for her team?
She's looking at just definitely making solid contact with that yellow just above the tee line. But really, a roll is ideal, but even to nose or to get the double on the 2 yellows would be very acceptable as well. So she's going to want to throw a bit of weight at this, but keep it under control as well. Definitely a key shot here.
At this point, it's probably unlikely to see Prince Edward Island come away with a point in this end.
It's looking like they'll have to, if anything, take their 1 point if they can get it. So this one really needing to curl. Starting to come off the line there. So this is very close. And that's a really good shot there by Kaylee McKay, rolling under cover. That's a great shot to the top button.
Right now.
It is, yeah. It's hard to get at that. So New Brunswick actually facing a bit of trouble here, because if this run back isn't made, then they'll be looking at a shot for 2 for Prince Edward Island to get right back in this game.
So just like that, it could have been a 7-0 game. That was an unlikely scenario, but it was possible.
It was on the table, but quite unlikely right now.
We'd have to see a pretty bad miss on the final stone when Prince Edward Island for that to happen.
Yeah.
And right now for Como, this will be her final shot here. And of course, she's going right at the red.
She is. She's going to run her. It's a bit of a short run back, but definitely not a gimme. So she's looking to run that yellow right back and get rid of the red. In doing so, she would sit. It looks like 3, but again, it does have to be made. Sweeper's very close on this one. Oh, just misses.
There is.
Just barely missing that back one on the run back attempt. So a great effort, but a bit of bad luck on that one. That's just a fraction of an inch from getting it.
So now that sets Prince Edward Island up with a pretty nice opportunity to make this game a lot closer.
Yeah, they'll be very pleased with the way this end was looking with a shot for 2. That's pretty surprising. Not 100% sure why they're drawing to the wing on this one, but there we go. Broom being changed, so it's just a straight draw into the. It looks like to touch anywhere in the 8 foot will get them their 2nd point.
So if this works out, the score after 5 will be 3-2.
Yeah.
As
At the moment,
very
it's
7-0.
Absolutely, much different game. So at the moment, PEI lying 1, looking to come in there to bring the game to a 3-2 lead for New Brunswick.
Keeping an eye on that stone is McKay. Her sweepers will let up right now, just a little touch as it crosses the hog line. It still looks pretty heavy.
Looking a little warm on that one. Pretty good. Yeah, they'll get a little bump on their own end. Not a problem with the 2 points for PEI there.
So now after 5 here on Bell Alliant Community 1, the score 3-2 in favor of New Brunswick. We'll be right back at the start of the 6th. Back here in the sixth, this is a 1-point game right now. It could have been a whole lot worse, as you said, Brooks, but really it evened up, and McKay with the bailout for her team.
Yeah, definitely. The team would be thanking Kaylee McKay on that one. She made a couple great shots with the hit and roll undercover, followed by a very, very close miss by Justine Como, and then a great draw for her second point in there. That's really a classic skipped deuce.
Here is Kira McLaughlin, the 14-year-old curler out of Fredericton. You know, this team is, as a group, they're all fans of Mike McEwen, the curler.
They are, yeah. They've professed their love for Team Mike McEwen, who's really burst onto the scene this year. They're one of the top money-earning teams in the world. They're unfortunately didn't appear at the Brier. Seemed to be cursed in that field, but they've won pretty well every tournament they entered. So, a very strong team. Definitely an inspiration for a lot of junior teams, especially this one.
And a good-looking shot for New Brunswick that time. They get perfect protection, just a little strong.
Slips behind the tee line, but leaving McKay a big opportunity. If they can get one in, it'll be tough for New Brunswick to remove. So just a slight miss, a few feet heavy on that one. So looking around the rink, we have a game all tied up over on ice 1 between PEI host and Newfoundland in the men's action, 3-3. This game here at 3-2 for New Brunswick with the edge. All tied up over on ice 3 in our other televised game between Prince Edward Island and New Brunswick men at 2-2. And big score over on ice 4 with the PEI host girls playing Newfoundland and Labrador, leading 11-1 after 5 ends.
Back up is New Brunswick. They hold that slim lead, that 1-point lead. But now they do have the hammer.
They do, yeah. Glad to get the hammer back, but they definitely would have preferred to force PEI to only getting a single point in that last end. So they'll be, and a bit of a miss coming up here as they jam that one.
So that's one of the first mistakes we've actually seen from this New Brunswick team here.
Yeah, that's a rough one. So PEI again with a big opportunity to get another one in and plug up the scoring area.
Now here comes the Redstone. We've seen one of the jerseys stripped, so it must be getting a little warmer in there.
Yeah, maybe just heating up because the closer scoreboard, I guess. But yeah, it seems to be a lot of sweeping going on, so that could be the reason for that.
It really does warm your body up. It's a pretty physical 50 feet down the ice.
Yeah, it's a cardio workout, to say the least. Not only that, but you have to be on your guard the whole time, thinking and processing the path of the rock.
Now, what do we see New Brunswick calling for right now?
They're just looking to play the hit on the top red, which seems to be fully open. So Brigitte Como playing the hit, possibly a double attempt, but that'll need to curl. It's fairly close.
They'll need a lot of power. So far they have it. That will curl just a little bit as it hits the house.
Bit of a bad break jamming on the back, but still good to get rid of one redstone, and they now have 2 yellow in the house in play, so they won't be complaining about that. But again, just a bad break jamming and leaving the red back 4 foot completely buried.
We're seeing a lot of curling on this shot right now.
Yeah, they're looking to get this one to kind of warp in towards the center line. It's a little far out, but it seems to be moving a little bit. Yeah, weight looks quite good on this one. They'd like a little better line, but yeah, they're actually going farther back
Now they had no intention to do anything with the Yellowstone.
No, that's a little bit of a miss. Just a little. They're going too far on that one. So they do leave a little bit of a wall at the back of the 4-foot there for New Brunswick to use if they want to. But New Brunswick is playing a little short run back on their own that was just thrown there.
And it's getting loud here in the Montague.
It is,
Club.
yeah. I think the 50-50 was just announced, so people are excited on this Saturday morning. This one fairly close. Does need to curl up though. And that will just miss.
That's a tough miss.
Yeah.
That probably did the worst thing possible. Remove 2 New Brunswick stones and leaves 2.
That does. It also leaves Kaylee McKay, by clearing up the front of the house, it gives them a path so that they can put a bit of a guard in the house. So just covering up that path to the button. Really shrink the scoring area for New Brunswick.
And we see the thinking time really being used up now by Prince Edward Island. Only about 11 minutes to go. Still 2.5 ends of curling left to go.
Yeah,
so that will possibly become a factor here in this game.
It could. They'll just want to keep things fairly quick, not put any unnecessary time into any decisions. But of course, still maintaining all their routines and everything. So that one again, just a little heavy, slipping in. PEI sitting 3, but all behind the tee line. So a bit of a good opportunity for New Brunswick to limit some damage here.
Back up is New Brunswick with this stone. Is it double in order?
No, they look to just be playing a freeze on the because there's a bit of a red wall there, so they want to get one in the button area, which if they do, which this shot looks pretty good coming in, it'll be very hard for Prince Edward Island to remove. So this one creeping in towards the button there. Just a tad heavy. They don't want to roll to the outside for sure, but that looks really good. That's a great shot there.
And now, of course, how would they actually go about removing that? That's the question.
Well, you can't really get to the inside, which would be the only way to get rid of that. So what they'll be playing the exact same shot and looking to plant one right on top of the yellow that was just thrown. And if they do that, again, it'll be advantage back to PEI with it being very hard to get out of there. But at the moment, New Brunswick with a bit of a bailout shot from Emma LeBlanc there. And this one a little wide for line, so they won't want to go on that unless they absolutely have to. Really not moving in towards the button, and seems to be a little heavy too.
A lot of congestion inside the house right now.
Yeah, and again, big break for New Brunswick. So if they can get one in right on top of their own, it'll be very tough for PEI to possibly steal, and New Brunswick would be looking at possibly an automatic 2.
But still, of course, that New Brunswick stone is closest, so that is the area that Prince Edward Island has to keep an eye on. And with the hammer, they do have final control here.
They do, yeah. So if this is made, it could be very tough for Kaylee McKay. Sweepers going hard on this one. And that's going to come up light, so bit of a miss there. New Brunswick still in a pretty good position, but PEI looking to capitalize on that miss.
So you say PEI looking to capitalize on the miss. How do they go about that?
They're going to play the same shot, so just try to draw one in right to the top of that yellow at the back of the button, and in doing so they'll basically lock one in there, because the way it's set up now, it's very hard to get anything moving in that cluster of rocks.
We are here in the 6th end at the Montague Curling Club for the Under-18 Atlantic Curling Championships. Brett Poirier alongside Brooks Roach on the call here. It is a 1-point game right now, 3-2 in favor of New Brunswick, who also holds the hammer here in this end. here comes the Redstones. A lot of activity for PEI at the back
Some
of
big
the house
sweeping
right now. They
here.
have to worry about those 2 stones up front.
Big sweep here, trying to get it right in there. Maybe even a little tap on the yellow.
And it is curling the
They're
right
coming
way.
off. This is looking really, really good. And that's a great shot by Kaylee McKay.
And that could really change this
That really changes the tone of the end. It's incredibly hard for Como to eliminate that red rock. If she does, again, it'll change the tone of the end. But the tables have really turned in favor of PEI with that great shot.
We've seen multiple times now McLeod come into this game, or I should say, pardon me, Kaylee McKay come into this game at the end and just completely change the way the end.
Yeah, she's having a really strong game here.
And now we see a conclusion of another game. It looks like Prince Edward Island
Yes.
came up with a victory there.
Prince Edward Island host moves to 1-2 with their win over the Newfoundland and Labrador girls, who are still winless. Over on Ice 1, we see Prince Edward Island host leading Newfoundland and Labrador 4-3 after 5 ends. And after 5 ends on our other live stream game between PEI and New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island's Leslie Noy leads 4-2 after 5 ends.
So now for New Brunswick, one of the toughest shots we've seen so far in this tournament.
Yeah, this is
a Como here.
This is a big one. A lot of sweeping coming in here. Called off. Needs to curl. Will not do the
quite
trick.
What they wanted
No.
to get done.
So leaves PEI in a solid position once again. McKay looking to lock one on top of her own that was just thrown. And again, really go for a strong skip set of shots.
And if this is placed properly, it could give them the upper hand in this end.
Definitely. It's looking like a definite steal at the moment, the way things are set up. McKay's looking at more the guard instead of freezing on top of her own, which is definitely not a bad call, but it really depends on how aggressive they want to go, because if the freeze is missed, it could give New Brunswick a bit of a bailout shot.
So for Kaylee McKay, we've seen her do it more than once in this tournament and in this game specifically.
Yeah, this will be a real test of her composure, because it's a pretty delicate shot, whatever she will be playing. Doesn't want to leave New Brunswick a way out after such a great setup shot on her first one.
And in a perfect world, she wants this stone just to be 3-4 feet above the red stone right now.
She seems to be looking at with that weight, just a little tap on her own. Freeze is a good option. So sweeper's called off now. Looking to get this one to move in. Looks pretty good. A little extra weight than what they'd really be wanting. So they don't want this to bounce off. And okay, a little bit of a break there for New Brunswick. Opens up the button for them to draw to. So that was just heavier than they needed on that one.
So out of the last 4 shots for McKay, that may have been the one that she'll look back at and say, oh, shoot.
Yeah, that's a key miss. Not that it is a huge miss, but those few inches that the rock moved are pretty gargantuan.
So now the final shot here in the 6th will belong to New Brunswick. Here is Justine Como.
So Como looking to cover the button on this one for her single point. Really needing to move.
It's curling. Still curling just
Still
above
on the
where
red.
that is.
This not looking good for New Brunswick.
Not what they needed that time.
And that's a steal of 1 for sure. They'll be looking around if it's a steal of 2.
Right now we can see these girls looking around to determine which rock is closest here between the yellow stone and the red stone, just at the side of the red. What do you think will be the final rule in here?
It's, from what I can see on the monitor, it looks like 2 red for sure.
So they have obviously decided we need a little more time to look at this, so maybe some measurement tools coming out here.
Yeah, it seems that way.
It really looks like the red stone is closer.
It does. Just looking at the overhead, it looks that way, but hard to say at the moment.
And now the crew here in Montague getting ready to set up here in the 6th. This would be a big point because right now it's a tied game at least.
It is. Yeah, this if this is a steal of 2, this would be putting Prince Edward Island in the lead, which is based on the first part of the game. That's not looking likely, or it wasn't looking likely.
Now LeBlanc had 1 tool there ready to measure, but the staff going to get another. Very careful calculations. Every millimeter counts, I suppose.
It does, yeah. This is a big swing. So it's at the moment we have a tie game, but this could really swing the tone of the game. So both teams' thirds going to measure this to see if it's the second point or just the single for PEI.
Is there a specific position that gets to measure? Is it
it's the third, yeah. They're just kind of in this case, they kind of do those other roles, the measurements and agreeing on the score. It's just part of the role of third. So we unfortunately don't have the tools to zoom in on the gauge, but based on that, it is a red steal of 2 for red, and PEI leads 4-3 after 6 ends.
We could have called that 5 minutes ago.
We could have. Yeah. We know what's up here in the booth.
Yes, we've got the better view on that one. So now my percentages go to 66, 2 of 3 now. Calling
moving
these
back
tough
up.
ones. I'm better at this end. I get a better view. It's hard to see. I suppose that this is 120 feet down the ice from where we are.
It's
right
a
now.
long way. It's fairly intimidating from the hack and from up here.
So now at the start of the 7th here on Bell Alliant Community 1, this game now taken over by the Islanders. They're up 4-3, and the skip belonging to.
Pardon me.
And the skip belonging to right now. After that last sequence, I almost forgot who had it. So pardon me, not the skip, the hammer.
The hammer. So with PEI getting the points there, New Brunswick retains the hammer, but they'll definitely be wanting to either get a blank or a solid score this end. I'd say the fact that they're down 1 means that they'll be going for a blank this end.
Try to have the hammer for the very end.
They'd like to have the hammer in the 8th end, I would assume.
We still haven't seen any timeouts called in that game, and that's definitely something that could happen. And does that take time away from the thinking time?
It doesn't. No, it's a 90-second period for the coach to go down to the ice surface, and it's off the clock, so the thinking time stops at that point.
Not a whole lot of thinking time left for the Prince Edward Island team. Only 9 minutes.
9 minutes for 2 ends, so that's decent. I'm sure they won't encounter any problems unless they get into some really complex scenarios.
And what happens if the thinking time runs out?
If the thinking time runs out, then the game is, or that team is no longer allowed to throw any rocks. So
that's very important to keep your eyes on.
Yeah, definitely, because you don't want to be left in basically a free shootout for the other team.
And in the scenario of extra ends, is thinking time allowed?
It's re-established, so it's 5 minutes in the extra end.
Here is Peters up for Prince Edward Island. This game by far the longest one we've had so far.
Yes, absolutely. Both teams certainly with plenty of time to spare, but they are taking advantage of the 30 minutes of thinking time for sure.
Now this redstone comes in. Already one redstone in play belonging to Prince Edward Island. There is a guard several feet away from the center line belonging to New Brunswick.
So PEI coming up just short on that draw attempt.
And they wanted to get inside that.
They did, yeah. Looking to hopefully get another steal if they were lucky enough, but even just to have some red rocks in the house is important for them. So Kira McLaughlin playing the hit on this one.
And that does a fair amount of damage.
Yeah, it does a good job there. New Brunswick, I would, based on that, say that they're looking to keep things clean.
Like you said, the blank end very possible for New Brunswick, who holds the hammer and are down by 1. So of course they're going to want to get 2 in that final end because no one wants extra ends here.
Exactly. I'd say they would be they'd be looking to go for the win absolutely in the 8th end, not wanting to take a point and give PEI the hammer in an extra. So definitely we could be looking at a pretty clustered end, lots of rocks in play next end, but as far as right now goes, it's all clear.
How is the hammer determined in extra ends? Is it carry over?
It carries over from whoever scores in the 8th loses the hammer in the extra. So Alyssa Wright bumping her own rock through the rings there. Bit of a mishap there. So leaving the New Brunswick second an open hit.
Here comes another New Brunswick stone traveling quickly down the ice. That is going right for the center stone, just past the 4-foot line, and it hits it, rolls a little bit. And a perfect roll right behind.
A very nice roll, just about fully undercover.
Brett Poirier alongside Brooks Roach here in Montague for the 2015 Under-18 Curling Championships. Almost said the University Championships. Had that in my mind. I've said that many times here.
No university students here.
But future university curlers, no doubt.
Definitely, yeah. Very close to the guard here. Oh, just hits the guard. So that's a very close miss by Alyssa Wright for PEI.
And now, could that give New Brunswick ever a chance here to capitalize in this? Would they want to give up their hammer, though?
The thing is, with an opportunity like that, you really have to go for the aggressive style. So they're going to put another guard up in front of their yellow rock in the house, leaving a staggered guard. Because with the amount of rocks they have left, you could be looking at definitely an opportunity for 2, possibly 3. So they'd be, I think they would be all right with that because I'd say they're confident with their ability to play a clean end based on their control up to now in this end, which they were dominating by playing it in a very open way. So that one's slipping in. Still, it's a tough double on that. So McKay looking at her options here.
Now, what are the options here?
Well, she can she could rip the guard, so she could just peel it out of there and eliminate any hiding places, because it's not helping them at all. But with the amount of that rock that was just thrown, that Danielle Colling can see based on what she's told McKay, they're gonna play the inside out hit on that one and try to get the double. So big shot here for Prince Edward Island. This one really diving towards that guard.
They're definitely going for power with this one.
Yeah, looks close. That's a good shot. It doesn't quite get the top yellow out of play, but definitely they're sitting in there. Not sure if it's shot. It's close, but decent outcome for PEI there.
You'll take that shot any day of the week, no doubt.
Yeah.
And now in the 7th, still a 1-point lead for Prince Edward Island, 4-3 in favor of the Prince Edward Island representatives. Of course, PEI is the host. This is not the host team. They actually got a win about 15 minutes ago over on Ice 4 against Newfoundland, and that Newfoundland team really in trouble right now.
They are, yeah. They're looking like certainly the weakest team at the event. That team from Labrador City. We see over on Ice 3 some antics from that game, which PEI now leads 6-2 after a steal of 2 in the 6th end.
So that's definitely a bit of a surprising
score
over
not
there.
An expected score by any means, but New Brunswick definitely looking to get back in that one in the 7th here.
As we know, New Brunswick, one of the favorites coming into this.
They are, yeah.
And Prince Edward Island, I haven't had a chance to do any type of a scouting report on them. How did they look entering?
They're a strong team. They haven't represented PEI before, but they're certainly doing a good job off the bat here. They had a very close game against Nova Scotia, who's another favorite last night. So yeah, they're looking better than expected, I would say.
Now Prince Edward Island up again, the center of the house all cleared up. So where will they place this stone?
Well, what they're doing here is, I think, just playing a soft hit on that yellow at the back there. So just trying to, again, get rid of as much enemy rock as possible.
And you called it that time. It will travel wide. And they're going to need quite a bit of curl. It looks like it is
at
this point.
Coming in decent, yeah. They'll roll out, but they and
That's not
quite.
what they wanted there either.
No, not at all. They seem to be sitting one, possibly second shot, but that is a miss. Needed some more curl on that one.
Either way, though, Brooks, for either team at this point in the game, mishaps just can't happen. It's going to be the team who makes the least amount of mistakes probably to come away with a win.
It's that clutch play and consistency in late ends, because they are, not that any end is more important, but at this stage in the game, you really can't afford too many mistakes. At the moment, New Brunswick with a clear advantage in this setup.
This is New Brunswick's third last shot. Here is Emma LeBlanc, 16 years old. Has been curling for 7 years. She got into it with her best friend ever since it is stuck for the Fredericton girl.
Big sweep here, and that is not going to get by the guard. So that is a rough go for New Brunswick.
So that's what we've seen, a pattern of one team makes a mistake, and then we see the same team following with the mistake. And that's why this game has been so tight all the way through. It
is close. You see a lot of that where a team will have a clear chance to kind of take a step ahead, and they don't make use of it as well as they could have.
This has been a very slow end of curling here.
It has, yeah. Not a ton of rocks in play, but just both teams definitely taking their time.
We see now just 6 minutes left of thinking time, still with an end to play here for Prince Edward Island. So that's something that probably at this point they'll keep in the back of their heads.
Yeah, they'll want to keep an eye on that. It shouldn't be a problem, but again, with the score that close, you want to have a comfortable amount of time. So Kaylee McKay with her first, looking to come in. Needs some curl on this one. Needs to move fast.
Oh, and there
breezes right by.
So this could make for a very interesting finish
That
because
can.
New Brunswick has a very good chance now to capitalize with 2 stones remaining here in the 7th.
Yeah, so that with basically throwing that one and not changing anything in the house, New Brunswick has an opportunity to eliminate the only red rock in play. So really taking control of that scenario down there.
And then they would have 3 rocks in play, a 4th just outside of the house.
And if they could ever get a roll in towards the center line behind that guard that they have up there, that would be really convenient.
So that is definitely the intended target for Justine Como right now.
Big shot for New Brunswick.
She's been good this whole game. And now, no doubt, the biggest shot so far. You can really just feel the momentum shifting back and forth after every shot, though.
Yeah, there's no clear winner on any part of this game. So she's just going to hit that one on the nose, and they're all right with that because, I mean, looking around, it's Prince Edward Island with their last rock facing 3. And
the
there's
scary
not
part is they're all separated. They're
exactly.
so
Yeah, there's nowhere to really hide it well. So again, when we talked about Brett, the fact that the Como team would be looking to play this in an open way, but take that aggressive chance if they could. This is what we mean. Like when that door opened and they could get a few rocks in play, you get a chance like this. And now, if this isn't made, you could have a shot for 4. So, really a changing of the tide on that one.
And the clock just ticking now, just over 5 minutes left for Prince Edward Island. Here comes Kaylee McKay. Very
important shot here for Kaylee McKay. Looking to put it just in front of the Yellowstone on the back 12. If it's made, it can really provide them a good opportunity to force New Brunswick to 1 point. If not, it could be a very, very big swing by the team getting 3 or 4.
So McKay getting all ready to go.
Definitely her biggest shot of the day so far.
So we know where the target is, just in between the 2 rocks, closer to the back, in the center. Will it travel there? That is.
So the line looks good at the moment. All up to the sweepers as far as weight goes.
Looks very heavy at this point still. A little bit wide.
So that's a good shot there. It can be removed, but it's a shot for 4, but it does require a bit of finesse.
So now it really all goes up to what Como can do here with her last shot here
and
in the 7th.
The problem on that one, the line would have been really good. It was just a tiny bit heavy. If it could have got to the nose, even with that weight, it would be a much harder shot for Como to score. But with this one, if she can get across the nose at all, and here we see she calls timeout, just looking to discuss her options.
And with that timeout, we'll take a timeout too here on Bell Line Community 1. Back here for the final shot in the 7th end from the Montague Curling Club here in Montague, Prince Edward Island. Brett Poirier alongside Brooks Roach for the call. Huge shot for Como coming up.
Yeah, this is a big one. As we see Como looking for a chance for 3 or 4 points here. Playing just a decent weight hit on the back red one. Huge sweep here.
Looks good so
far. Calls it off, gets by the guard, and this will be good.
And a huge
score of 3 for New Brunswick. Great shot there.
So now that changes things. It will change the hammer, but the score most importantly. And now that gives New Brunswick a 2-point lead heading into the 8th and final end. We'll be right back here on Bell Line Community 1. We're back here at the start of the 8th, where we just saw the tables turn in a Harvey Brooks.
Yeah, big change of the feel of the game on that one. I'd like to give a shout out to our loyal viewer in Montreal, not only Lewis South, but also Alex Cormier, who just sent me a text message. Player for Team Quebec at the Junior Nationals, who happened to win a few awards there. Great man, called my voice melodic and soothing, so I'd like to thank him for that and wish him all the best in his day and his observation of this wonderful game we have on the go.
Wonderful indeed. It is now a 6-4 lead for New Brunswick. Would you call that a bit of a collapse or just a very strong end for New Brunswick?
That's not so much a collapse, just a very, very well played end by New Brunswick. Great strategy on that one, but again, a few key misses, especially McKay's first one, blazing right by the back yellow of New Brunswick. So that really opened the door for them. Still a decent shot on her second one, but hard to come back from facing that many opposition rocks.
And of course, we know the implications of this game for both of these teams.
Yeah, it's a big game to move up in the standings. This win would put them just a big step closer to the gold medal game, which is definitely the goal for both of them.
And of course, this gold medal game will take place here on Sheet 2 between the women. That will be tomorrow at 1 o'clock Atlantic time, so make sure you're with us on Bell Line Community 1 for that. And Brooks, this is our third game together. Will we get you for all 6
It
perhaps?
Is. Oh, I would have to say so. I mean, my contract doesn't state it specifically, but I'd love to return for all games.
Well, excellent.
It's a great chance to see some of the talent on display here.
If nothing else, you get comfy seats in front row.
Yeah, it's a great view of the game. We see handshakes over on Ice 3 in our other game as Prince Edward Island team Leslie Noy defeats Marine from New Brunswick. So that's a bit of an upset, I'd say, but a well-played game by the PEI boys for sure leads to that.
That really is an upset. New Brunswick looked so strong yesterday.
Yeah, the defending champs, and they'll be looking to rebound, but also a great win for Team Prince Edward Island.
Now all eyes probably shift to our game.
Yes, we see a big jump over on Ice 1 as Prince Edward Island host leads 8-4 after 7 ends. So looking like they'll have the win in that one as the lead stones are being played on that ice. Double takeout being played by Prince Edward Island. Just does not quite get the top yellow out, but removes things from the center line area. So bit of a different call playing the hit in that case when you're down 2 in the 8th end, but decent result, leaving Como a chance for the peel on the red guard that was placed by Prince Edward Island.
This game approaching the 2-hour mark, an hour 56 to go, and as far as thinking time goes, 3:40 left.
Yeah, they have 6 rocks left for Prince Edward Island, and they have little less than 4 minutes. We see a miss there by New Brunswick, just nosing that guard, so leaving PEI another hiding place. So if they can wrap one around here, that will be a big jump for them in the the advantage for this game.
Of course, for Prince Edward Island to win, they need to get at least 2 points here to
Yeah.
win in regulation. Then if we want extra ends, they would just need the 1.
Yeah. Actually, they need 2 points to tie. So they're looking to.
Pardon me. Sorry,
again.
you're right.
Yeah. 2 points would put it to the extra, and this
3
one.
for the win.
Yes. This one's really diving towards that guard.
Not what Prince Edward Island wanted there.
Not at all. No, and that's gonna bump it in. I don't think enough power to get it in. Oh, actually, yes, it does. Yeah. So that was not only offline, but the weight would have been way off there. I'd say that would have sailed right through, tapping that guard right to the tee line. So not what PEI wanted at all. They'll be looking to rebound on their next one.
Of course, in the deficit, Prince Edward Island cannot make any mistakes on their final 5.
No, for sure. They're already facing a lot of opposition rocks. But again, a mispeel by New Brunswick. So the door is open, but it's getting narrower for PEI.
With every pass and shot, they just need to get stones in play, and right now they're not doing so. As long as New Brunswick can keep those stones out, good opportunity here for them.
Yeah, the PEI, they seem to be playing a light hit here, which is, again, a strange call, because you don't want to be playing around with too much hit weight. I like the fact that it's not a big weight shot, but they still, it's a bit of a risk playing with that. And this one's again gonna be jumping right at that guard. So they'll be looking to roll that to the side, and I don't know if that'll spin in to grab any of the paint.
Doesn't look like it will that time, so it will remain out of the house. So the island stone, once again, they've had a hard time getting inside.
They have, yeah, and with no guards now, and the only guard, I guess, that they have is way out to the side and not usable. So they're not set up great for a 2-point end here.
So what do we see being set up here for New Brunswick?
Well, they're just looking to, again, get rid of that redstone, because it's really all that the Islanders have at the moment. If this is removed from play, then all that PEI will have is, I'm gonna say, a freeze on that rock on the side of the 8-foot there. This one needing to curl. Close.
Here it comes, just approaching the red. They get what they want. It curls inside, a little strong maybe after the hit, and it does travel out.
Yeah, that's a good shot though. Just keeping things, giving them less to freeze onto. Rolling out is definitely what she'd be going for there.
Now Prince Edward Island up once again. This time it is their 3rd. Danielle Collings is up.
So this is a key shot for her. Danielle will be looking to freeze one right on there. If it's made, there will be a good opportunity for a deuce, but it's a very key shot.
This is her first shot in the 8th. We're halfway through this
And
end.
they're really going for line there. And weight, it seems. That's already over curling. That may not even make the house. Again, very tough miss.
And of course that leaves that yellow stone once again wide open.
It does. But yeah.
I suppose they would want that anyway.
They would, but New Brunswick,
they still want to get inside, and they were just not able to do that either.
New Brunswick playing the same thing here, just wanting to remove that guard from play, which it looks like they'll do fine.
And will this curl inside? Right now it is. Will it hang around? Doesn't look like it will, and that's out.
And again, hanging around, not a priority, but yeah, that's 2 good shots from Emma LeBlanc in this late part of the game.
And now this is officially the last game here in play. We have approached or passed the 2-hour mark, 2 hours and 1 minute in this game. So maybe a little bit of karma. We got off early in the first few games, especially in that first game after
Yeah.
6. So now the tide has turned a little bit.
It has, just hanging right to the end. Hopefully all our viewers are hanging with us to watch the exciting finish to this game. It's been a good one, all 7 ends, so hopefully this 8th one will have a strong finish as well.
My first game of curling broadcast ever was 3 hours and 12 minutes, so...
Well,
you
I've
know,
never encountered a game that long, but
Yep.
I don't imagine we'll hit that milestone today.
I truly hope we don't win
No.
this game.
So this one also over curling. And that's going to bounce out into the open.
Once again, not perfect.
No, not what they were going for. Still, they're setting second shot, but it is completely open to be hit by New Brunswick.
And now, as we approach the end of this end, it really looks like New Brunswick is in control here.
They are, yeah. There's if they eliminate this rock, then both of PEI's rocks need to count for them. So that's not a position you want to be in as a team that's trailing, especially in the 8th end, and against a team that has shown throughout the whole game that they're not making those basic misses.
And I'm just sending some thoughts and prayers back home. I found out my sister just got food poisoning last night, so
Oh my.
thoughts to her. She's getting a little IV pumped right now at the Prince County Hospital, but fortunately, food poisoning was hopefully just the diagnosis. I don't know if you've ever had it. I haven't either, but
I
I'm
have
assuming
not.
it's not
No.
very fun.
I wouldn't imagine. No. So McKay really needing a great shot here, hoping to weld it right onto that yellow shot stone at the moment. If that's made, then there may be an opportunity for 2, but if not, then it will be a chance for Como to end the game on her next shot.
And of course, this would mathematically end this game here.
If this isn't made, then Como will have a shot to end the game before the last rock is thrown.
Very big stone now for Prince Edward Island. They're still down by 2 in this game. All eyes on this sheet of ice right now.
Line's looking pretty good here. Weight's a little up. Yeah, they're going to get a bump on this one. The line's good. And they'll send the New Brunswick shot right to the back. So if this is removed from play, that will end the game. So Justine Como with a tough, a fairly easy shot to finish this off, but there is a jam possibility, but it's looking like this should be made based on the history of the game.
Here is Como now with her shot. Like you said, she just has to remove this red stone.
She does, yeah, and I'm sure she'd be comfortable with that. She's thrown and made many harder shots than this.
And of course, there's probably no one else on this ice she'd rather take this final shot.
Yeah, she's a proven performer.
And now the shot looks good. Lots of weight to it. Just about to cross the hog line. Lots of sweeping. Now they will slow down, and it is just in line.
And that
there
will
it goes.
Fire it out, and that's the game. So New Brunswick takes down Prince Edward Island.
In a very close uphill battle for Prince Edward Island, where they actually held the lead for quite some time, but it was New Brunswick coming away with the win here. We'll be back at 2:30 here on Sheet 2, where we will have the host, Prince Edward Island versus Nova Scotia. That will be a game. For Brett Poirier, Brooks Roach, we are signing off here on Belline Community 1.